Some evacuations remain in effect for La Plata County after major flooding this past weekend, but they have been lifted in Pagosa Springs and Archuleta County. So now the focus for those communities moves on to the recovery phase. Joining us today live is Pagosa Springs Town Manager David Harris. Hi, David. I know it's a very busy time for you guys. Thank you so much for making some time for us today. Why don't we start with just give us an update on the current situation in your town. What's going on in Pagosa Springs this morning?
So this morning we've been meeting to discuss our recovery efforts from a staff perspective, what have you, and we are having discussion about debris, of course. We're also having discussions about the long-term repair of a sewer line that was dislodged from the what we call the First Street Bridge on US 160. We're in the process of assessing. We have a temporary bypass in place, so we're no longer discharging fluid into the river, but we do have a bypass in place that is working, and we're trying to come up with find a fast way to enact our longer term solution for that.
Okay.
But go ahead.
No, you go ahead and keep telling us. You've probably gotten a look at some of the damage so far. Any guesstimate on like numbers of what recovery might even look like for you cost-wise?
So we're still assessing. We have thumbnail sketches, and it's still too early to say
Sure.
what amount of damage we have. But I think when we're looking at from a private sector perspective, we're looking at maybe a few homes that had some water intake. We had some a garage, some other outbuildings in the residential areas. We have a couple of one of our businesses, a shopping center, took on some water in the lower level. Near the river. We had the Springs Resort had about 10 of their 50 pools inundated and underwater. However, the rest of the operation is fully functioning. I know there have been some concerns about some cancellations, but I think the positive thing that we're seeing is that we were very blessed and very fortunate to not have sustained more damage, and then it could have been a lot worse. So, but I think the best part is just watching and seeing how the community is responding to neighbor helping neighbors, and people looking out for each other. So that's been a blessing to see.
Always the best stories that come out of trying to manage, something happening like this. You mentioned the Hot Springs Resort. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that. So how many of those pools were damaged? And it's kind of the layout and the geography really of that setup, right? So what was going on there? And that's a big draw for tourism in your town, certainly.
Absolutely. It's one of our major tourism draws. But, from what I understand, it was about 10 of their 50 or so pools they have that was underwater. And you're right, it was an elevation thing. Those were right next to the river. And as the river rose, obviously they took on water. But the same could be said for our trails here, Riverwalk Trail that we have, that was underwater. But when you have 12.82 feet of water, 515 yesterday, we're flowing at what was it, 8,560 CFS. That's a lot of water to process, but and to pass through. But yeah.
And I wish I had better news about the forecast for you, but I know we're looking at maybe some more rain coming later today. How are you guys feeling? Are you doing any sort of prep or just kind of a wait and see with rain coming later?
At this point, we're it is what it is. The rain comes, we'll deal with it. But I think the wonderful thing about it is that we had a great my public works crew, the parks department, police, our fire district, our sheriff's deputies have just done a remarkable job rising to the occasion to help people out and keep people safe.
Yeah. Have you had any sleep yet?
Yeah. And thankfully we've had a lull, and I think we got some rest last night, so I think we'll be ready to go for the next round should it come.
And as we wrap up here, the final thing I want to ask you is just you talked about the community supporting each other, everyone kind of coming in, lending a hand. Let's finish. Why don't you tell us just if you've seen anything you just really want to share that touched you the most as your town's been tested this week?
I think there's been a tremendous outpour, not just from neighbor helping neighbor, helping people out. But I think we've seen this from the outside as well. We have nonprofit groups and faith-based groups coming in to help offer assistance, whether it's in cleanup or some sort of remediation, and that's been good to hear. And so we're in the process of trying to provide some order and centralize the availability of that so that people can access those services. But it's been great to hear. We had our visitor center. My visitor center director was receiving phone calls from people calling because their dear Pagosa was being threatened, and it was just good to hear the outpouring of love and caring that was coming from just over the phone lines.
Yeah, okay. Pagosa Springs Town Manager David Harris joining us live today for an update on your town. Thank you again for your time today, and hang in there. We'll be watching you guys the next couple days as well.